The rain had started sometime around 4 in the morning. It tapped gently against the roof of the cottage like an old friend asking to come inside. I hadn't been sleeping, not really. Not in the way I used to when William was alive. It had been 10 years since I last shared a bed with him, but I still slept on the left side, leaving room for him on the right. Habits like that don't go away easily. That morning I sat at the edge of the bed, the same linen sheets bunched up around me, my feet cold against the wooden floor. The mirror across the room caught my reflection, skin a little softer, hair a little thinner. But there I was, Lorraine Evans, 71 years old, alone in a house that once buzzed with life. Alone, yes, but not broken. At least not anymore. I walked into the kitchen, tied my robe a little tighter, and clicked on the kettle. The morning routine had become sacred to me. 1 cup of Earl Grey, 2 spoons of honey, no toast. I'd stopped eating breakfast 3 years ago when I realized I only made it because William used to love it. It felt dishonest somehow to keep doing it just because. As I poured the hot water over the tea bag, I looked out the kitchen window. Fog rested low over the fields. The forest behind our home, my home, was still dripping from the night's storm. A few crows picked through the garden like gossiping old ladies. The house was too quiet. It always was. I used to turn the television on just to have some voices in the background. Now I preferred silence. Silence could be sharp, yes, but it could also be tender. It let you hear your own breath, your own thoughts, even the ones you tried to bury. After tea, I padded into the living room, wrapped myself in the heavy knit blanket my daughter gave me last Christmas, and sat in William's chair. The leather had cracked in places, the arms worn smooth from his restless fingers. I closed my eyes and imagined him sitting next to me, reading the paper aloud like he used to. "Can you believe what they're doing in Parliament, Lor?" And I would say, "No, but it doesn't surprise me." God, I missed the way he said my name. Like it was a secret only he knew how to pronounce. The doorbell rang. At first I thought I imagined it. No one visits me out here. I don't have neighbors. Not really. Just trees and foxes and that one owl that thinks my roof is its throne. I stood slowly, the blanket falling away, and walked toward the door. It was Rachel. Not my daughter Rachel. This Rachel was a stranger. Or at least she had been until 2 months ago. She'd moved into the cottage down the hill, one that had been empty for years. Said she was retired. 73. Used to be a music teacher. Wore scarves even in summer. We'd met once at the farmer's market. She'd complimented my hair, and I, without thinking, had invited her for tea one day. Apparently that day was today. She held up a box of scones like a peace offering. "Thought you might want company," she said. I stared at her for a moment too long, startled by how familiar her eyes looked. Then I smiled and stepped aside. "You read minds now." She laughed. It was the kind of laugh that pulled warmth into the room. We sat in the kitchen, the scent of lemon and sugar rising between us. She told me about the violin she hadn't touched in years. I told her about the paintings I hadn't started. We talked about late husbands, lost sisters, and the things we wished we'd done before 70. "You ever think about starting over?" she asked gently. "All the time," I admitted. "But the world doesn't expect much from women our age." She looked at me for a long moment. "Maybe that's why we're the best at surprising it." That night after she left, I went upstairs and opened the trunk at the foot of my bed. Inside were old brushes, dried up tubes of paint, and a blank canvas William had bought me for my birthday 15 years ago. I set it up near the window. For the first time in a decade, I let myself feel color. The following mornings I painted. Not well, not confidently, but fully. It was clumsy, wild, a mess of reds and golds and blues. I painted memories, dreams, fears. I painted William's hands, my daughter's laugh, the fog over the fields. Each day Rachel came by with a new baked good and a new story. We fell into a rhythm. No expectations, no masks. Just 2 old women refusing to fade quietly. Then, one afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was upstairs, wearing nothing but a loose nightgown, paint smudged on my cheek, brushing strokes across a half-finished canvas when the door creaked open behind me. Rachel had let herself in. I turned around, startled, one strap fallen down my shoulder, completely exposed in the golden light of the room. Froze. She didn't look away. She just said, "You look alive." That moment would change my life completely. Not because it was provocative, it wasn't. It was human. Unapologetic. It reminded me that my body, my age, my story, none of it needed to be hidden. We sat by the open window that evening, rain falling in gentle waves. She held her tea. Held nothing. "I think I'm done hiding," I said. "Good," she replied. There was no romance between us. Nothing dramatic. Just deep friendship, mutual recognition. Something sacred. Over the weeks that followed, I began painting again for real. I joined a local gallery group. I wrote letters to my children. I began recording my voice, reading old poems into an audio recorder. I even tried yoga. Once. Life, I realized, hadn't left me behind. I had just been sitting in the waiting room too long. Now when I wake up, I don't stay in bed. I stretch. I open the curtains. I dress in colors, not grays. I eat toast. And sometimes I still leave room on the bed for William. But not because I'm waiting. Because I'm remembering. And remembering is how we keep going.